Hello, I'm Leo. Welcome to headsinthecloud.tv.
G'day, I'm Swampy, conscience of the people, when I'm conscious.
Hi, I'm Phil and I talk tech.
Real estate's going down, the share market's going down, employment's going down, the dollar's going down. And everyone rushes to gold. So I think it's timely to remember Midas. Someone should have told him how that story would unfold with all that cold, cold gold. Not so long before today, in a land not far away, a prince who would succeed the throne sat and thought of all he'd own. But longer was the list attached of everything he thought he lacked. He wasn't sick, he wasn't poor, but his first three words were, "I want more." His Royal Highness Midas was the tightest king that ever lived. That gold he had to reach his goal will buy him nothing. Now he sold his soul. And so it passed, the crown was his. The knights, the queen, the royal biz. The list of spoils went on and on. The list of needs had also grown. He said, "Give me all that money buys." His subjects bowed and rolled their eyes, but his fate did as it was told, and it granted him the touch of gold. A curtain brushed against his head. It then became a golden thread. Then he looked down, a golden gown. And these are whose, these golden shoes? And then he saw the royal cat. It jumped right up onto his lap. No sooner had that creature settled, he noticed it was made of metal. His Royal Highness Midas was the tightest king that ever lived. That gold he had to reach his goal will buy him nothing. Now he sold his soul. Man, oh man, he sure does wish that gold would go. So come on, people, listen in. When you wish, don't be like him. The human touch is how to win. And now his gravestone's known to read, "Be careful what you think you need when you can't divorce desire from greed."
All right, this letter is from Gavin in Balaclava. He says, "Yo, Swampy." For sizzle, Gavin. He says, "Are you affected by the GFC?" Well, Gavin, do I look like I am? I mean, I've seen recessions come and go over the years, and depressions, you name it, they pass me by like an old oak tree, but I don't really get directly affected. Although the other night, I must say I felt an emotional disturbance, GFC related, as I was doing the rounds down there at Footscray Station, looking for a lazy couple of bucks. I was approaching a businessman who was standing at the lights waiting to cross the road, and he looked like he had the weight of the world on his shoulders. He did. He had that far-away executive stare and bags under his eyes and prematurely greying at the temples. He looked very stressed, his head buried in his me phone. And I thought to myself, look at him, he's probably got a mortgage bigger than Ben-Hur. And he's probably paying off 3 cars, putting his kid through private schools. He's probably lost tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, on the stock market. And I thought, geez, he's broke. Compared to him, I'm in the black. I gave him $2. Actually, it was $2.20, because you probably have to pay the GST.
Are you still using your internet service provider's domain name in your email address? You know the one, knucklehead1234@optusnet.com.au, or perhaps you're using knucklehead123@hotmail.com. Time to grow up and get a unique email address. You may want to search for your own name.com to see if you can use that as an email address, or in fact your name at gmail.com as an email address. However, if your name's not unique and everybody's got your name, you'll find that fairly difficult. It would have been far better for your parents to have named you in a unique fashion, like crazy celebrity names.
I've got a question here from Rama in Upwey, just near the New South Wales border. She says, "Dear Swampy, what music are you into?" Well, Rama, I'm into quite a few different things, musically speaking. I've always been a big fan of Liza Minnelli, Liza with a Z. I saw her in the early 80s when I still had money, the Hilton Hotel. I had a front row seat. She did one of them high kicks and almost took my eye out. My good eye. I saw the Beatles in '64, Festival Hall, the Fabs. Geez, they were good. Oh, the screaming though was so loud. I had Molly Meldrum sitting right behind me. And I've always been a big fan of old Blue Eyes. I'm not actually referring to Frank Sinatra. I mean Charlie Corbett used to sing over the Yarraville RSL. He was a manic depressive. He always had a sad, lost look in his eyes when he wasn't singing, hence the Blue Eyes nickname. I think they were actually hazel. But geez, he was good. He used to sing New York, New York, and he'd change the words to Footscray, Footscray. And I'd join in on the spoons. It was magic. Yeah, poor Charlie, he's no longer with us. Moved to Adelaide.
Everybody needs a bit of danger. I'd like to produce a show called The Death Tent, and it would travel around the country and set up in ovals under a big top, and out the front it would say in huge letters, Death Tent. And there'd be two guys. One would have a clipboard with liability waiver forms, and the other one would have a loudhailer, and he'd say, "Come inside the death tent. What's happening in here is so dangerous that we're going to make you sign away your right to sue us. And you could get killed." I think there'd be a long line of people from here to Ballarat and back trying to get inside that tent.
We've all heard the silly names. Seven Cyrus was one recently. But consider this, Seven Cyrus. Pretty unique. Easy to get at gmail.com. Not a bad result. So think about that when you name your child. Look it up first. Buy the domain name. Or if you're a graphic designer, misspell the name on purpose. Best way to get notoriety on the internet.
Alrighty, this email is from Kate in Broadmeadows. Don't mention the war. She says, "Dear Swampy, how do you cope with change?" Well, Kate, I'm not sure I always do. I've seen a lot of change in the world over the years. A lot of change in this part of the world. So many trucks in the West now, drives you crazy. Bloody old trucks everywhere. There was a time you could put your mattress down the middle of Francis Street and the buggers would drive around you. Not anymore. A lot of change though. I went to get that ferry the other day from Newport over to Port Melbourne. I fell straight in the water. Almost drowned. Then I remember they stopped that ferry in the 70s. So a lot of change. I got a mate, Barry, he's into fantasy and sci-fi fiction. He reads all that all the time, and he says to me sometimes, he says, "Swampy, wouldn't it be good if we had a time machine? So you could go back and you could change the past." I said, "Geez, Barry, I don't know, even if you had a time machine, I don't know if you could change the past. Because, I mean, if you could change the past, you wouldn't be here wanting to change it in the first place. You know what I mean?" And then I said to him, "Barry, you can't change the past, but you can change the future. And you don't need a time machine for that."